Voice, Peter Kefalas back with you for another segment. Appreciate you guys tuning in as always. So on this segment, we are going to speak about crime, more importantly, crime committed by illegal alien criminal gangs, but more disturbing, the ones that are very young, 12, 11, 15 years old, minors, if you will. So let's jump into the story, folks. So recently, if you guys haven't heard the story, there's an offshoot of the Tren de Aragua, the vicious Venezuelan prison gang, called Los Diablos de 42, which is pretty much a translation, the Little Devils of 42nd Street. So we've seen them run stick-up rings last summer in Central Park where they targeted joggers, New Yorkers, tourists alike. I think the leader back then was 11 or 12, pulled out a pistol, and they seem to have been arrested many, many times and just cut loose every single time due to their age. So we might as well call this segment Undeportable Criminals. So let's jump into the story, guys. Now, recently, the offshoot of the TDA gang, Los Diablos de 42, which, like I said, is the Little Devils of 42nd Street, their home base is the five-star tax-funded Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan. Remember, that's the hotel that went through hundreds of millions of dollars of renovations, never invited one tourist yet. They've only been there as taxpayers are subsidizing illegal aliens, and we know it's a base for criminal gang illegal aliens now. So what's happened recently is the Los Diablos of 42nd Street recently went into Staten Island and attacked and robbed an autistic teenager. The boy was 16 years old. I believe it took place at the Staten Island Mall or outside of it, and roughed the kid up, beat him up, and robbed the kid, unfortunately. So they just don't rob people in Central Park or hang out around their base, which is the Roosevelt Hotel. I think every borough, maybe minus one, they seem to have struck so far, at least from what the police records had said. So these are underage menaces. They're continuing their reign of terror here in New York City. Two of the members were, like I said, were recently arrested for robbing and assaulting the autistic boy, the 16-year-old minor in Staten Island, unfortunately. They're based out of the five-star Roosevelt Hotel that we, the taxpayers, subsidize and fund, right? That's a good idea, right? And in the past, like we said, these guys have robbed New Yorkers in Central Park with pistols, knives, beatings. They've struck in pretty much every other borough, according to the police. And the police are saying time after time again, there's not much they can do because they're minors, and the criminal justice laws here in New York, if you're under 18, short of killing someone, which is what one of these law enforcement officers said off the record, there's not much we can do. Now, that's coming from a cop off the record. So we know the criminal justice system here in New York is very weak, coddling the criminals no matter what your age is or what the crime is. But the cops really say now they have no choice but to release these illegal alien criminal underage gangbangers back to the care of their guardians or their parents. And police say that basically what this group does is they have a Wolfpack operation, a Wolfpack mentality. So what do? They look for someone alone, almost always. They look for someone that they feel is weak, someone that they could Wolfpack, meaning they were going to come out of nowhere and just swarm that person, beat them up, pull a gun, pull a knife, whatever they have to do, hurt them, and take the property they're looking to take. So it's the Wolfpack mentality. One of the cops said off the record that there really are a bunch of punks who don't have much courage, considering they won't do anything one-on-one, but they'll do something 10-on-1, 15, 20-on-1. So we know they like the odds in their favor. Now, I was just talking out loud. Who do we hold accountable? Obviously, the elected officials in Albany and the city, the liberal, progressive, socialist, Marxist, communist, anarchist, also known as the Democrats, who've created these laws and this atmosphere where not only adult criminals get a slap on the wrist for pretty much everything, but now if you're under 18 and you're an illegal alien criminal in an international criminal gang, you're pretty much going to get cut loose immediately to your parents or your guardians. They get back to the Roosevelt Hotel that we pay for, a five-star funded place, and they're back on the streets again, robbing New Yorkers and tourists alike, picking on the most vulnerable, the weakest targets that they could come across, according to the cops. So I was just talking out loud with a friend of mine yesterday. What about holding their parents responsible or their guardians? These are kids that are mostly not even 15, 14 years old, it looks like, that are armed and dangerous, committing crimes in every borough. And one of the cops said, short of them killing someone, there's not much we can do. So are we going to wait till one of these idiots, these young punks, kill somebody before we take action or think about changing the laws, and the environment we live in, or not? Unfortunately, we're probably going to wait because that's how New York City is run, poorly. So I was just, like I said, maybe charge the parents or the guardians and put the pressure on them, since who lets little kids out at all hours of the night, let alone all hours of the night when they damn well know these little kids are criminals? And what do you guys think out there in New York City in particular? What do my fellow residents think? I mean, we've already have plenty of adult illegal alien criminals here that we just have a revolving cycle where they're in court, out the next day, out in hours a lot of the time for committing crimes. Now we have these minors who are armed and dangerous on a warpath with a record that stretches throughout the 5 boroughs. And the cops are even saying, at least off the record, and we know it's true though, there's nothing they can really do short of killing somebody. They're released to their parents and guardians, and they go back to the Roosevelt Hotel, which is their 5-star hotel base of operations. So I'm pretty much sick and tired of allowing this to happen, whether you're an adult or a minor. It's just unacceptable. And it's only going to get worse, in my opinion, unless the laws are changed or Holman and Trump come in and deport these little monsters, and their guardians, to say the least, because this just isn't a very safe, civilized way to live in the largest city in America. Is it? Obviously not. Anyway, in the comments, guys, let me know what you guys think about these underage, undeportable migrant criminal gangsters here in New York City. I'm sure that they're spread out throughout other cities in the country, but here in New York anyway, we're focusing on this story. What do you think can be done, if anything? And who do you guys blame? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't shared, liked, or subscribed yet, please do so. It helps us out a lot. Costs you nothing. Takes a second or two, and it helps us out tremendously. Thank you for tuning in as always, guys. This is Peter Kefalas with Queen's Voice reporting on this segment. Stay safe and take care of each other.